So this is gonna be, a quick message and video, to my audience and to myself, right before, I head to Japan, right? I know that I've been visiting, Asia countries, like more recently than ever, right? I remember I did, had a trip, to Vietnam, just like 6 years back. I mean, I couldn't believe time flies, but yeah, I have to make this video because I may not be on video on YouTube for a while or something like that, right? I mean, of course, I don't go YouTube that often anymore, right? But now I should, right? To have a quick update, right? On your big trips, right? So yeah, technically 12 days is almost 2 weeks, right? And I'm going, and I usually go, vacation in the summer, but not anymore, right? I mean, yeah, I go with my mom and my sister and me, right? But yeah, hopefully, I can record, a lots of things, right? Hopefully, right? And yeah, and I just recently bought a new GoPro. I mean, obviously the old one's probably like outdated and it's probably just not gonna work anymore. And it's like obsolete, right? So yeah, I have to make sure, the new GoPro is working, and all stuff. So I better, get my packing done, right? I'm almost done with packing, so I only have like a little bit of things left here and there, right? I gotta pack things very carefully, so that way, I can vlog and view all this image, right? Before I can post it on YouTube, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you all the plan that I'm gonna do in Japan. I cannot tell you all of that because it's a surprise and I do not want you to tell you ahead of time, right? So yeah, and obviously, something unpredictable can happen, so that can like alter or change, the plan, right? So yeah, that's all I have to say in this video. So here is the rule of, okay, so before, so this is like me, 2 days out, from Japan right now. Well, actually 3 days, because Japan's like 1 day ahead, right? But because this is the most odd thing that has ever happened to me. I'm going to visit another country during the daylight saving time ends, or when it begins. But in fact it ends because I live in California. The time zone may be different, right? I know that when the daylight saving time ends, Japan is 17 hours ahead of us. But during the daylight saving time, it's only 16 hours, right? So by the time I get back here, we already gained 1 hour. So yeah, this is the first time for me, like I don't experience, a daylight saving time end. This is gonna be the first time because I'm out of the country. So yeah, just be aware, like for those of you who never visit out of the country, you have to, the laws are different, right? But then they can be similar, to living in US, right? Of course, like if you have common sense and if you know the rule and if you just learn how to respect other people, then you should not have worry about breaking the law, in another country, right? Of course, wherever you break the law, you're always gonna get in trouble and you always have, to be held accountable, right? But yeah, because everywhere you go, the laws are different. Like even, living in your own country, you go to different places, the laws are totally different. It's just like even just leaving the state or maybe even the city, the law applies differently. So that's something I have to warn myself, like plenty of time, or people, who never experienced this, right? They think that the law is pretty much the same. No, it's not. It's different, right? So yeah, so here's the definition. When you visit another country, you are a foreigner, right? Because you don't live in that country. You're just a visiting, right? So yeah, and also, why, it's better to go to Japan in like October or like late November. It's obviously because the weather's cooler, right? You know, like around like July or August, it gets like really hot, right? Really, really hot. And because I'm making this video, right before Halloween, I want to say happy early Halloweens to you, people in the US, right? Happy early Halloween. It's gonna get there, eventually, right? Yeah. So, yep. So what's the point? So what are the rules in general rules in Japan, that you just have to be, aware of, right? I just searched it up, through, this AI, and I try to remember as much as I can. So that's the only difference between, US and Japan, right? So let me sink that in. So obviously when you go to Japan, that's the one thing of, like why people like to visit Japan, because Japan is a very clean country, right? Yeah, I know that some people, hate living, in a dirty environment, right? So if they just visit, a very clean environment, then yeah, a lot of people would like it. But then, you have to follow the rules. Obviously, when you're in the truck, in the public transportation, you are not allowed to talk, right? Yeah, whenever you go somewhere, in public, right? Well, technically public transportation, right? And also, whenever you go, indoors, you have to take off your shoe. That's, the Asian culture, right? I do that all the time, whenever I get in the house, I always take off my shoe. So that should not be a problem, right? Because I've done this like many times. So, and also, yeah, when you, let's see, and you have to, carry your trash, with you, right? This is why the country is literally so clean, right? But yeah, there you cannot litter in Japan, right? That is definitely not allowed. So no littering and no eating or drinking, while you're walking, right? Yeah, and that is considered, rude if you do this in Japan, right? So while in America, yeah, it's kind of okay, but there are rare occasions where that can also be, inappropriate, right? And also, like no tipping in Japan. So yeah, well, if you live in your own country, that may be considered rude if you don't tip at all, right? But some countries you go to, tipping is actually not allowed. So that's the one thing I have to, put out there, right? Hopefully when I go to that country as a foreigner, hopefully I don't make these type of mistake. But yeah, if I do accidentally make a mistake, I should, apologize, right? And just learn, remember, don't do it again, right? I know that everybody makes mistakes. So if you do like once, then try to remember not to do that again. So yeah, but if you've been living in that country for a while now, and if you still, repeat that mistake or your first offense, then it seems a lot more, worse than, a foreigner does it. Because foreigners, they only temporarily stay in that country, not live there, right? So that's something, I have to say in this video. So yeah, what else I have to say, before you visit? Obviously, the currency is definitely different. So yeah, that's something I have to be aware of. Every time I go, out of the country, currency is going to be different, right? Everybody should know it by now. I should definitely know it too, because I study accounting, so I should definitely know these things really well. So currency change. So yeah, this is why, visiting another country, everything is different, because it's just different culture, different people, different needs, different everything. So yeah, and also they even speak different languages too. So yeah, I think I highly suggest you, download an AI, Google Translator, right? Because some people may speak Japanese, right? I think this might be a problem, you know, when coming to Japan, is that some people, yeah, you know, the people who are local in that country, they may think, you know, that I'm not a foreigner, right? Some people are not foreigners because, you know, they look very much alike, like Asian stuff. Obviously, if you look like white or black, or your ethnic is totally different, then they definitely know that you are a foreigner, right? So yeah, it's just that, so sometimes, you know, foreigners do look like, you know, citizen, but they're not, right? So it's just that, you know, as long as you're just being respectful, you know, and not acting like a total, you know, jerk, then yeah, everywhere you go, there shouldn't be an issue, right? But yeah, but I think that's all I want to, you know, say in this video, right? So yeah, I might experience, you know, something different, right? You know, just like, you know, what I don't see in the US, right? I mean, yeah, staying in just one country is definitely, you know, some boring and all stuff, but some people don't have luxury, you know, to visit, you know, other countries, right? Yeah, you may see, you know, different total environment and, you know, how the way people live, right? So yeah, oh yeah, talk about trash, right? If you have a trash with you in Japan, just make sure, you know, you carry it along with you until you find a trash can. I mean, that's the only thing sucks. So if you don't like, you know, holding trash too much, I suggest you'll get a plastic bag or something like that, right? Just, you know, cling onto you. If you know if you're gonna have a lot of trash, just bring, you know, a bag, right, that you can carry with you, right? Just carry along with you, and then, you know, once you find trash, then you dump it, right? So yeah, that is my suggestion, you know, for this, you know, video, right? If I can make, you know, better suggestion, you know, like how to visit other country or just Japan in general, just comment below, or something, you know, I just miss out, right? But yeah, those are just the general rules. So okay, I'm gonna have to end our video here, and bye bye.